Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome back to another Cities Skylines episode. My name is Sports Monkey, and we're back here in my great city of Kelly Creek. And for today, I do want to go through a very important mod. It is called Bob. Bob is called the tree, Bob is the tree and prop replacer modification. So I'm going to have that on the screen, what it looks like in the Steam workshop. I'll show you that screenshot. So what exactly is Bob? You see a lot of Cities Skylines YouTube channels like Few Candy, you have Overcharge Egg, they're using Bob. Now what exactly is Bob? Well, I'm going to show you exactly what Bob is. So first and foremost, where do we find Bob? Well, if you go to the Unified Belt, I should say, you're going to click on it. In the middle of the screen, you have Bob, and like I said, the tree and prop replacer. So once you click on Bob, you can see the Bob icon is my cursor right now. And what can we do with Bob? Well, there's three things you could do. You can actually click on a building and modify the assets on in the building, or I should say on the building. Technically they're on the building. Then you can modify the assets on roads, and then you can modify assets on in the map. So let's get started with the Bob mod and using the actual map. Like, what can we change in the actual map? So let's say we click on this lovely tree over here. This tree is called the Giant Redwood 01. You could see that there's a purplish pink, and they are very much highlighted on the screen. Let's say we are not fans of that tree. So what we'll do is we will go over to tree in the search, and we could see how many different trees we have available in our asset collection. So I'm just going through, and let's just say I'm just trying to figure out a good replacement that you could actually see on the screen. I'm just looking for a big tree. Well, guys, we'll use this tree for example. So let's say we want to do tree variant 2. This is our favorite tree in all of Cities Skylines. What you can do is click actions, and then if we click off this chart, we can go over here, and we could see that every single tree we had that was highlighted switched over to the new tree that we clicked on. So if we go back to Bob, there we go. You can see that everything switched over to the tree 2 variant that was the Giant Redwood. Now, if we'd like to revert back, we can hit the red button and hit undo. Then we have our giant trees back. So what this mod can do outside the map is you can change around different assets and different trees. So if you don't like certain billboards, like for example, if you don't like that billboard, you can find another billboard in your asset collection and swap it. So that's pretty cool that you can use. This is using the map. So what Bob can do for using the actual map itself. So our next thing we're going to do with Bob is we are going to click on an asset. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys with Bob is what can it do with buildings. So we're going to click Bob again, and you can see our Bob icon. We're going to click on this right now. So you can see there are no trees connected to this asset. I would say that there are no trees. I can concur. If you look, if we move this, we're gonna move this a little bit. You can see there's no trees. Okay, we can concur, no trees. Well, if we go over here, we can see the other assets that are a part of this building. Now we have the park bench, which you could see is highlighted in that purplish pink again. Now let's say we didn't want the bench, and we're like, you know what, we just don't care for the bench. Well, what you could do is, see how we're clicked on the bench? We can actually hide this, and look at our benches disappear. So you know what, that makes, now we don't have benches. Now what about this door marker? All right, well, let's keep the front door, but let's say we are not a huge fan, although that's, where is it? What else can we use? Let's say we don't like the parking spots, for example. See these parking spots? Let's say we don't like them. Let's just remove them. So what this asset, or what Bob does, is you can remove objects off the actual building asset themselves. So for example, like I know Few Candy has this issue with certain signs or logos and stuff like that. Like let's say, okay, let's see these logos. You could see all of them. Let's say Few Candy hates these logos. She does not like them. So what we're gonna do, hide this item. And now the building looks a lot more plain. So overall, you can do a lot more things with the buildings, and you can remove the parking lots. You can remove the trash cans. Oh, and just when you are removing them, don't forget to hit apply and save actions. So for example, that's why the parking spots keep coming back. You have to hide this item and then hit apply and save changes. So this way, the actual assets that you are removing from the building, that's also why these logos are still there, and just make sure your actions. So now your building does look a little bit more plain. But if you want, this is just an example, this is not a very good example, but if you do eventually want to combine some of these buildings together, again, this is not a great example, but like, since you're removing the assets, you're kind of making them a little bit more, they're easier to play around with. Like, you know, for maybe this building, you can move forward a little bit more, because guess what? We got rid of the parking lot. So just an idea of what you can do with the Bob mod when you're using assets. Now, the very last thing, whoa, I have some traffic issues. The very last thing you could do is you can actually click on a road. So when you click on a road, you could see literally every asset being used in your map in Cities Skylines. So let's say you didn't want a right turn signal or a right turn sign, you can remove it. If you like manhole covers, look, you can see in the middle that, you know, like if you like seeing them on your street, you can increase the probability, and you can see the number of, like you can see on the screen. Hold on, let me move this over a little bit. When you increase the probability, you can see that more manhole covers are added to the actual road you're clicked on. Now, if you lower the probability, there will be less manhole covers or sewer covers. Now, that's, again, that's your own personal preference, but that's something you can edit and change. And again, you're able to go through the roads individually and take assets in and out of the road itself. So guys, that is the Bob mod. If you guys have any questions on the Bob mod, please let me know in the comments section below. But I think the Bob mod is very, very, very useful, and I think it's definitely worth having. Just make sure when you are using the Bob mod, you have a lot of RAM that you're using on your CPU. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.